Hello and welcome to this video where I will be walking you through the installation steps of the new 200-85 Shroud kit upgrade for the MAG-200 dust collector. This Shroud update gives you the ability to use a 4-inch deep filter and a full 12 by 12 MERV 8 pad. Some of the tools you'll need for this installation are a driver with a 5/16 socket, preferably one with a magnet in it. That makes it a little bit easier. You'll also need a drill. In the kit for the Shroud, we include all the necessary hardware. We also include a drill bit because you will have to drill one hole into the body of the MAG-200. And then we also include a tube of silicone caulk to seal the new frame or Shroud frame to the MAG-200 dust collector. Now before we get started with the actual installation, I want you to be aware that there are two generations of the MAG-200 dust collector. We came out with the MAG-200 in 2016. This is an earlier generation 1 version. You'll notice there are no carry handles on this unit, and it only has a 2.5-inch diameter inlet that is welded to the top of the dust collector. On the generation 2 units, which are current, you have 2 carry handles and the inlets are interchangeable. So you have 4 screws with these inlets that can be 2.5, 3-inch or 4-inch. This one right now has a 4-inch on it. And like I said, this one is 2.5-inch, but it's welded, so you cannot change the inlet on the older generation 1 machines. However, if you have one of these, this new filter Shroud kit will also fit. On this side here, I've got the 3rd stage filter Shroud, the existing one, removed, and the pad filter removed along with the pad filter cover, just so you can see inside. It is the same central locating hole that you'll start off with the generation 1 units also. A couple other ways you can tell yours is a generation 1 unit is if you do not have catch clamps on your bottom yellow tray. The generation 2 units have catch clamps to remove the yellow catch tray, whereas the earlier versions either had thumb screws or just a screw in it. Another important note to make about the generation 1 units is that you will be using this top hole and then you'll be drilling a new bottom hole for the Shroud, but you will not use these side holes. You'll simply plug those with screws, whereas on generation 2 units you will have 4 points that you will screw into the body with. That also makes it important that when caulking using the silicone that we include, that you make a good seal all the way around the frame when you attach it to a generation 1 unit. Now to begin the installation, we will first need to remove the 3rd stage filter Shroud from the MAG-200 dust collector. And this is the generation 2 unit. And now that we have that open, we can set that aside. Next, we'll be removing the pad filter cover and the pad filter itself. We will also no longer need those parts. There are 4 screws to remove. And we can pull out the pad filter cover and filter and set those aside. Now, the holes that the previous filter Shroud used, we will use those 3 holes again. That is this central one here, here, and here, but we will need to drill a new hole down here. We will use the new filter Shroud frame to locate that hole. Now here we have the new part, the new filter stack with the new pad filter and 4-inch deep MERV 13 filter. Let's just open this up to give you a look at it. We undo the catch clamps, which will be now how you change filters once this is installed. We'll take out the 4-inch deep filter. You can see how nice and large this filter is, giving you a lot more surface area, which means a longer life filter. The pad filter, of course, also got much larger. The older one was only 4 by 12, now it's a full 12 by 12. And here's the inside of the frame. There are stops for the filters to press against, and then you can see here this flange. This flange area is what will be sealed against the dust collector. Here's that top hole, and we have our two side ones. There were points where there were two different height holes on the Generation 2. We'll need to caulk the flanges we had just spoken about with the included caulk. So we'll set that down, and we'll start there. So put on a nice bead of caulk all the way around on all 4 flanges. Once the unit's in place, we'll also do another bead around the outside to ensure that we have a seal, because you'll notice these corners are open, so we'll have to seal around the outside of these on the machine. So now that we have that bead on the flange, we can connect the new Shroud box to the dust collector. And the easiest way to do that is set it upright. Again, the catch clamps are on the side. We do have some decals to help you see the orientation. Take one screw with your driver, and we'll pull the dust collector a little closer. What I like to do is start at that central top hole, start your screw so that you can see it coming out, and then go right up to the hole and just get it snug, just so it contacts. Then we can put in the 2 on the side. And then tighten those up. Remember, these are sheet metal screws, so don't over torque them. And now we can see we've got the 2 on the side, the 1 on the top, and now we have our 1 hole we have to drill. And because there was already a hole in the filter shroud, that gives us our location point where to drill the hole. Now you have a view of the filter shroud installed on the MAG-200 with first those 3 screws, the top and the 2 side ones. Now we have to drill our single hole in the bottom there using the existing hole in the shroud as our location. Here you can see I've turned the MAG-200 on its back because drilling downward will be much easier than doing it laterally. So we have it in this position ready to drill. Take the included drill bit with your drill and go ahead and pop that hole in. Then have your self-tapping screw. Now, while the unit is still on its back, if you need to, take a paper towel and gather up the metal chips from the drilling, and then go ahead and get your tube of caulk again, and let's caulk around the inside of the flange as well. So just go around all the edges and put a nice little bead all the way around in each corner, and then along the flanges as well. We want everything to have a really nice seal, because of course the better the seal, the better the filtration. This is also a good position to do the bead of caulk around the outside. We recommend doing both the inside and the outside, again, to get a really nice seal. And this 3-ounce tube that we include is going to give you more than enough. So you can put it on quite generously. Now you'll find that there are 2 holes on the outside that are open. Now, of course, dust would leak out of here, so put a little caulk over the hole on each side. Then grab your driver and 2 screws and plug each of those holes with a screw. We can also caulk the 2 seams of the frame going up inside here and up inside. You shouldn't need to put anything on the outside. This flange is already quite tight, but to really make sure we've got a good seal, we can put some up this flange as well. Now that we have all the caulking finished, all the 2 outside screw holes filled again and caulked, we are ready to load the filters in. But one note to make: when you put caulk in these 2 corners, please wait at least a good 15 minutes or even an hour for that caulk to dry, or make sure you really wipe any excess out of these 2 corners, otherwise it'll get stuck to the filter. Now let's load the new filters in the stack. Here we have our pad filter, and remember, the more coarse looking side goes towards the inside, because that will contact the dust and dirt first. Then we have our 4-inch deep pleated filter. Always make sure that you see the wires to the outside. And lastly, we have our louvered cover. And do note there are slits in the corners. They do have to slip past these flanges. And now we have the MAG-200 upgrade to the 4-inch deep filter and the much faster and easier filter changing with the catch clamps and louvered cover. Get this closed up, and now you're ready for use. If you do have any questions, certainly feel free to give us a call or email us. If you need any other parts or to buy replacement filters, visit us at Magna-Matic.com. Thank you very much for watching.